guys deceive me at what transpired at the MLB trade deadline? Kenny C back on the ones and twos. Welcome back to the Kenny C Show. Hit that subscribe button. You will want to do so because we talk any and all sports on this platform, from baseball to football to basketball to hockey, and we do so with the same energy, intent, and intensity that I'm bringing you right out of the gates. You'll want to hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. It goes for miles in terms of help for myself. I really appreciate you guys. Also, check out the TikTok at the Kenny C Show. I've been posting a lot of short form stuff, YouTube shorts and TikToks alike. So now I got to get back in the saddle and do some longer form content and talk some baseball on this video for you guys. My Yankees fans, my Mets fans, we're going to prioritize New York baseball, MLB trade deadline, but I encourage any and all fans from all 28 other teams, comment section. Comment your thoughts on how you think your team did. Maybe they did too much. Maybe they gave up too much. Maybe they didn't do enough, like the White Sox. Or maybe they're the Twins and they are $440 million in debt and needed to get rid of a bunch of contracts. Well, they damn near gave rid of the whole team, but such is baseball, right? Yankees, Mets, let's get into the nuts and bolts. Brian Cashman. I got to give you the flowers, my man. You set out with a goal saying we're all in, and you damn sure went all in. It started by filling the void at the hot corner. Wasn't Peraza's job, wasn't LeMahieu's job. They couldn't hold it down. Move Jazz back to second. Bring in Ryan McMahon. You gave up a number 8 prospect and a number 21 prospect. So what? I'll take it any day of the week. The guy's bat has been blazing hot since he became a Yankee, and he earned his pinstripe moment the other night. Wednesday night, I was in attendance for this. The walk-off in the 11th inning by Ryan McMahon after a crazy up-and-down game. That was probably the craziest, most exhilarating Yankee game that I have ever been to live in person. That was awesome. So he gets Ryan McMahon. Cashman goes out and gets a couple of depth bats, righty bats at that. The lineup riddled with lefties, you got to balance that out. He goes out and gets Ahmed Rosario, can play multiple positions, utility guy, goes out and he gets Austin Slater. What does he give up for Austin Slater? Well, he gives up number 18 prospect. I'll take it any day of the week. Any day of the week. Brian Cashman said Spencer Jones and George Lombard Jr. are virtually untouchable. The top 7 prospects at this deadline were untouchable. They gave up nothing of extreme value. We can live with giving up a number 8, a number 21, and a number 18, but that was just the start of it for Brian Cashman. Middle of the game, at the deadline, he trades for Jose Caballero from the Rays, shortstop, second base, third base. Hey, Anthony Volpe probably should give the guy some freaking mental rest because he's been in his head this year. What a season, tumultuous season it's been for Anthony Volpe. His bat has really heated up as of late. 16 home runs, 16 errors at the time of making this video. You can't make it up. You simply cannot make it up, but Anthony Volpe needs some much needed rest. Put Jose Caballero out there. Maybe give Rosario some burn for a few games before we really get into the thick of needing him. And what do they give up for Caballero? Everson Pereira, 93 at-bats as a Yankee in the big leagues, 151 average, 14 hits. We could do without that. See you later. Cashman gets back immense value while giving up virtually nothing. Now you look at the bullpen. By the way, I'm going to give the letter grade here B+ for the Yankees. I'm giving them a B+. And I'll tell you why once I get to the Mets thing in comparison to the Mets letter grade and break that down. But Cashman goes out and gets Jake Bird from the Rockies. Yeah, he's got a 4.05 ERA, but he's got 3.5 years of control moving forward. He's 29 years old. He's got some filthy stuff. He's got a really nice sweeper and a really nasty sinker. So I like the move. You put him in pinstripes, you throw him in a bullpen that definitely needs the help but has the talent. I think this guy's going to be great. These were the 2 big moves by Brian Cashman as you take a look at this here. Camilo Doval at the buzzer. He's under control until 2028 or through 2028. He's got a 3.09 ERA with 15 saves. And what'd they give up? Number 17 prospect, number 23 prospect, and a couple of guys that weren't even ranked. For Camilo Doval, a veteran who's a strikeout guy. What did the Yankees need at this deadline? Guys that were punch-out bullpen relievers. And that's what he gets in Camilo Doval, and that's what he also got in David Bednar. The guy has had a .39 ERA since May 24th. 17 saves, 0 blown saves, sporting a .237 ERA on the season. What did we give up for David Bednar? Number 8 prospect, the number 14 prospect, and a couple of other guys that were unranked in the Yankees prospect farm system. Let's freaking go. Ryan Cashman delivered. And you know who didn't deliver? All 3 guys that I just finished hyping up. Look, I get players get the yips, but for all 3 of our new pitchers to have the performance that they had Friday night, that might have been the worst Yankees loss in the regular season that I have ever seen. An epic collapse. All 3 pitchers look terrible, but hey, it's only one game. He got guys that are under control. You have Bednar for at least through 2026. He got guys that are under control for at least a year plus, gave up virtually nothing for them, and got very solid arms. Now, you look at Bednar's season last year and Doval's season last year, not the best. They've been up and down, a little bit inconsistent, but this year, they have been solid. You look at the strikeout totals for Bednar. The guy has 51 strikeouts. Bird, 61 or 62 strikeouts. Doval, 50 strikeouts. These are punch-out guys. Guys that when you pair with Luke Weaver and Devin Williams, MLB look out, because this bullpen is now fortified. You're going to get back Fernando Cruz. You're going to get back Mark Leiter Jr., Ryan Yarbrough. Luis Gil will make a start for the starting pitching on Sunday for the Marlins. You would have liked to see Cashman maybe go out and try to get one of those arms, but the Marlins, for example, with Sandy Alcantara, they wanted Lombard or Spencer Jones in the deal. That package was off limits for the Yankees. Cashman was not going to do that. And I don't blame him, because Alcantara's ERA has ballooned this year. So I think, if anything, the Marlins should have been trying to sell low, because the guy's performance has not warranted getting a top 5 prospect from the New York Yankees. It's just not going to happen. But you look at the other pitchers from around the league. Mitch Keller didn't move. Joe Ryan didn't move. Zach Gallen didn't move. Edward Cabrera from the Marlins didn't move. Mackenzie Gore from the Nats didn't move. So these pitchers clearly you would have needed to give up a substantial amount of prospects to get these guys. The Yankees weren't willing to do that. They don't add to the starting pitching, which is a bit of a concern, and that's why I put them at a B+, in that range of a B+, because they didn't get the starter, and now you rely on Will Warren, you rely on Cam Schlittler, and Marcus Stroman to guide you through once you hit the postseason. Well, really, Luis Gil, it's probably going to go Fried, Rodon, Gil, and then probably Warren, and then your 5 could be Schlittler or Stroman. But the top 4 there, I'm not the most confident going to the postseason, but they have some real good talent. And the bullpen, that's why you bolstered the arms, because bullpens win championships. And that's what Cashman realized and went out and got. Now the Yankees also in that B+ range, because could have used another lefty relief pitcher, because Tim the Stash Hill and Brent Hedrick are the only 2 lefties in the Yankees bullpen, which is eerily similar to the Mets, and I'll get into that. But all in all, I thought it was a very strong showing by Brian Cashman, and he proved to the Yankee fans that, hey, we want to win, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to go out and get the arms to do so. I love it. And now we move into the New York Mets deadline and what the Mets were able to pull off. I'm giving the Mets an A grade, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Yes, I'm an unbiased Yankee fan. Maybe a shocker to a lot of people watching, because a lot of people look at Yankee fans as, oh, they're always going to be Yankee boys or Yankee girls, and they're always going to, no matter what, back their team and make them the most highly rated, whatever the hell you want to say. But I'm going to call it how I see it, and I'm going to give the Mets an A grade here. David Stearns goes out, fills the bullpen needs, and gets his big positional need in center field in Cedric Mullins. The Mets, similar to the Yankees, did not have to give up any of their top prospects. Jet Williams, Jonah Tong, Nolan McLean, untouched. Their top 3 prospects in their farm system did not have to move them. For Gregory Soto, a strong lefty bullpen arm, 3.79 ERA. They got him from Baltimore. They gave up their 19th prospect and a couple of guys. I think one guy that was unranked. Not bad at all. I like the move by the New York Mets to get him. Then they go out, and this is where I give the Mets the edge over the Yankees. They got one of the most consistent bullpen pitchers in baseball. in Tyler Rogers from the San Francisco Giants. Since 2019, he has the second most starts. Guy's only walked 74 batters and is sporting a 2.79 ERA over that span. He has a 1.80 ERA this season, a submariner. This guy's an elite top-level arm. I say that they get an A over the Yankees B+, because I think Rogers is a more consistent reliever when you compare it to Bednar or Doval, who last year didn't have good seasons. That's it, plain and simple. But I think that Tyler Rogers was a supreme move by David Stearns. Then they go out and they get Ryan Helsley, closer from the Cardinals. 3 ERA with 41 strikeouts on the season. They gave up the number 5 prospect in Jesus Baez, who's the shortstop. But again, didn't have to touch the top 4. That's key. And another 2 guys that were unranked in the Mets farm system. Cedric Mullins, 15 home runs, 229 average, 738 OPS. The average is 717 for OPS in the MLB. That's not too shabby for Mullins. He's got a strong glove, not the best of center fielders, but he gets to the ball. He can make the diving play and track down the baseball. And I look at him as a much bigger advantage over Tyrone Taylor, who brings nothing to the plate. And Jeff McNeil, let's be honest, having a really good year was not going to be the long-term solution in center field. So it was either Luis Robert Jr. or Cedric Mullins. Stearns went out and got his guy in Mullins. Now, when you look at what they gave up for Rogers, number 10 prospect, and Jose Butto, the Mets will take that any day of the week. You look at the Mets bullpen now, you're looking at some relief in which you have Tyler Rogers, Helsley, and Edwin Diaz. That's pretty damn solid. Similar to the Yankees, though, you would have liked to see the Mets go out and get a starting pitcher. Didn't happen. Is what it is. Mets have battled injuries as well in their starting pitching. And then you look at the bullpens, they only have 2 lefties like the Yankees. They have Gregory Soto and they have Brooks Raley. So when you look at that, you would have liked the Mets to go out and maybe get another lefty. They have a half-game lead over the Phillies right now as of this time of this video. For first place in the NL, the Yankees have a 2.5 lead over the wild card, the first wild card spot, and they're only 3.5 back of the Jays. These are 2 teams that are heavily in playoff contention with 2 GMs that realize we need to go out and we need to make some moves. We have to make it happen. We got to bolster the bullpen. 2015, you look at what the Royals did with their bullpen, won them a World Series. You rely on your arms when you're starting pitching. If your starting pitching can get you to 5, and you bolster the bullpens like the Mets and the Yankees have done, when you look at what Ryan Stanek has done this season for the New York Yankees, and when you look at what Reed Garrett's done for the Mets, what Stanek and Reed have done for the Mets, it's been outstanding. And now they add more arms to the bullpen in Soto, in Helsley, in Rogers. Great acquisitions from both GMs, from both organizations, and I want to hear your thoughts. The fans' thoughts are what matter. I want to know what you guys think of this. And when you look at the Mets lineup, you're probably looking to put Mullins in that 6th spot in the lineup. But when you look at the 2 lineups between the Yankees and the Mets, Nimmo, Lindor, Soto, Alonso is nothing to gawk at. I mean, then you look at what Ronnie Mauricio's done for the Mets. Outstanding. Cody Bellinger, in the wake of Judge being out, MVP caliber season. Grisham, he's been awesome in the month of July. The Yankees and the Mets both have the lineups. They both have depth now in their lineups, and the depth in the bullpen that goes a long way. Fans, I want to hear from you. Drop your comments in the comment section below, and stay tuned for more content on The Kenny C Show.